I chased rates of returns better than any of them until I realized getting to the top of the mountain is not the real level of success. It's being able to go home and tell your family you did it.
Right.
75% of the people dying on Mount Everest died on the descent. They made the top.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't even share it with the family because they're frozen on the side of a mountain. I believe 75% of well thought out financial plans are going to fail because they've got an advisor team focusing on the left side of the mountain, bigger, higher, greater, more, rather than minimal tax, spendability, off the radar screen legally. What can I do to spend money, not save it? So that's why I'm saying it takes a different financial advisor, a different coach to help you get off the mountain and mitigate your tax rather than just get a bigger pile of money.
Well, and take someone that actually understands what they're talking about when it comes to insurance in general. That's a roll of the dice. And actually, if we took the standard, if you just rolled the dice and got the standard insurance person with the license, we probably would be more in Dave Ramsey's camp. And I don't think you would ever say that out loud, but I am empathetic to the people that are like, life insurance is horrible, because if you look at all the people that have a life license and that all the products out there and what's actually being peddled, I don't know about you, but I get a little bit self-conscious. I'm like, yeah, I agree, but just because there's bad actors doesn't mean the whole industry needs to be thrown out. What do you say to the person that's like, Tom, you are peddling a scam, and there's people that will remain nameless that think life insurance is the worst thing in the world, like literally Ned Brierson level, like, deal. What do you say to that?
Wonderful. Next. I was on the airplane sitting next to a billionaire.
Wow.
The woman had a diamond on her right hand, not her left hand, the size of a quarter.
Yeah.
We Googled her after I got off the flight. She's a billionaire. So we started talking, and she's going to speak to a women's convention in Tokyo, and she's flying from Nashville to Dallas. And we're talking about airplanes. She doesn't like her Embraer little jet because it's too slow. And here I am with twin Cessna. And so I don't relate to this conversation at all, but we start talking about, how we became successful. And I said, well, I owe mine to Simon Sinek and finding, my why. And she said, well, what is your why? And I said, I want to teach every United States tax-paying citizen the difference between chasing rates of returns and understanding how wealth works. And I'm going to show them how they can spend all of their net worth and not have to file a tax return. And she looked at me in an eighth of a second and she said, what if we don't mind paying taxes? Can you believe that? I mean, I threw up in my mouth. And then she said, so what do you say to that? And I said, I'll just say we're not a good fit and move on. There's 350 million people in this country.
Yeah.
How many do you think would want to learn how to use the tax code and avoid taxation? I don't need to convince this woman. So as we're pulling into Dallas, the plane's a couple minutes late. They're holding this 777 for her. They have a Porsche Cayenne waiting at the bottom of the ramp to take her to drive over to. Anyway, she's putting on her coat. She said, so what do you think about Dave Ramsey? And I said, well, the funny thing is I don't think about him at all.
That's good. That's a good answer.
There's a naysayer.
Yeah.
About everything. The sun comes up every morning on that side of the world. We should change it. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Next. I only want to work with people that are open to being worked with.
Yeah.
I got out of the convincing business years ago. I don't chase people. I tell you, this is what I believe. This is why I believe what I believe. This is to whom I wish to share my belief. This is the value they get when they do believe as I do. Do you believe as I do? And if it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
And at my age in my career, when someone says no, I breathe a deep sigh of relief. Yeah. I never have to worry about that again.
Your identity is not in what a comment says or a no or rejection. And that's the problem with lots of people is we have our validation comes externally, and then you'll always be at the mercy of your perceived value.
Yeah. And when I met this woman on the airplane, 5 years ago, I would have gotten her email. I would have sent a box of chocolates, a leather-bound binder, not pleather, leather-bound binder of every product and service we offered, hoping to get a piece of business. Today, I just laugh it off.
Yeah.
There's always a naysayer. That's okay. We need those.
Yeah.
That's what triggers debate.
Okay.
It's people who don't believe as I do.
Okay. You ready for some lightning round, some questions here? Okay. The life insurance is an amazing product. Anyone that's watching this that knows me, I'm a big fan of life insurance. though I do see lots of people selling life insurance future income, and life insurance is not necessarily designed for like monthly checks and all. I want to just hear how you come back with that, like, because you've been doing it a lot longer than me. How are clients actually taking income? Are they taking it monthly, annual lump sums? Like, I know that sounds like a dumb question, but these are like actual, like, annuities are meant to annuitize. They're like built for income. Life insurance, while it's easy to look at an illustration, how does it actually work in real life?
I was very fortunate young in my career when I was working with a much more seasoned rep, and he said the problem with our industry is we show illustrations of the client always sending the insurance company money. We never show illustrations where the insurance company is sending it back. So it's literally as simple as picking up the phone, calling the 800 number, giving them the policy number, and asking for a loan. There is no credit report. There's no tax return. How are they getting it? I don't have anybody taking it monthly because my staff does that.
Okay.
We request it for them. So we'll do maybe quarterly, maybe every 6 months, and then they just put it in their checking account and spend it the way they want it.
Do you worry about loans blowing up? Because life insurance is amazing, but if a life insurance lapsed, there would be taxes on the gain.
Which is one of the reasons why I like using the companies that we use. We use companies that have no lapse guarantee.
Okay.
Now, there's not a lot of cash, and there sure as heck isn't a lot of death benefit, but there is no 1099. So that event will not happen.
Okay.
There is an opportunity to potentially run out of money in the insurance, which is why when I originally started, you're asking about annuities, if I put 10% of the amount that could be put in the strategy, put 90 in it and put 10 in this annuity, at age 92, when this one may run out of money, this is going to be worth a fortune.
Yes.
And maybe they go back to paying taxes again.
Yeah.
On the distribution they take. But depending upon how much they take out, and the tax code in effect on the day they take out will determine if anything is due.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, taxes are never great, but I would rather pay taxes on money I have versus run out of money completely.
True.
So that's
the number one fear of elderly is running out of money, not dying, running out of money.
Okay. Whole life versus IUL.
IUL has its place, as every single life insurance type has a place. Life insurance for me, on the distribution side of the conversation, you cannot have a policy with a monthly premium due, or a mortality charge, or an administrative expense, or a fee. Even if I'm not paying any premiums anymore when I retire with IUL, I have those fees. So the head starts to eat the tail. We use products where they are guaranteed to be done at a certain age or a certain number of years in premiums. When they're done, there are no more charges that are going to come out of your account. IUL has a wonderful place. I've got a cottage up north where I would love to have every kid that wants to use it buy a $50,000 IUL policy, inexpensive, let the market take care of it for the death benefit. It's a great death estate planning, wonderful potential. Although there's some potential problems. You get 3 negative returns in a row like they did in 2000 to 2003. That kind of ruins, this whole idea of growth inside of an IUL. Again, if my conversation with retirees and pre-retirees is mitigating the risk, this is still risky. I mean, insurance companies were brilliant back in the 70s. They said, you want to think you can do better than us with all the brains we have? Great. You own the risk, the mortality risk, the investment risk, the expense risk. Have fun. And it's pretty much priced to expire before you do. So they never pay a death claim. And for those they never pay a death claim, they receive fees all of your life because there's no policy in force on the day you die. I'm trying to mitigate that. So when we talk about how IUL works, I haven't anybody that back when in school, that was a test question. We had to draw how IUL works when we had a bucket and we had to show the premium, the net amount at risk, the surrender, all that stuff. And I'll show that to someone who comes in and says, I want to talk about IUL. Great. And no one has ever said, oh, this is how it works. I want to still buy it. Because if they said that, I would say wonderful, but not for me. I don't want a surprise. I don't want your policy to lapse. Yeah. I don't want to have to answer for you may be taking out too much money. You bought a car, never paid it back, and the policy's blowing up. I don't want to go there. But there's plenty of people in the world today, especially in this country, that don't understand how IUL works. I would love to sell you a policy. That ain't me.
Yeah,
I won't do it.
Mutual versus stock company.
The strategy we use has to be mutual. I want to own the company. I don't want a stockholder to own the company and then serving two gods. And even those mutual companies that are owned by stock companies, well, you'd think the stockholder wants to let all the profits go to the one mutual company that's going to pay their policyholder. You can't serve two people. So this is my preference. It's my bias, if you will, but it's got to be a mutual company. It's been around a long time. We use companies that are 150 years old.